So, can you tell me what you've seen in the parts of the Philippines that was devastated by the Haiyan typhoon?
Yeah, 3 months after Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda made landfall in the Philippines, particularly in the town of Iwan, and hit, of course, the city of Tacloban, I had opportunity to visit the typhoon-devastated provinces. I saw Tacloban, Palo, and also the coastal towns of Eastern Samar. And one thing I would say is a lot of relief has poured into the devastated towns and cities. And I think the people there, survivors particularly, are at least reaping the benefits of having all of these relief goods. But one thing that I want to emphasize is the need for longer-term solutions for survivors. And if you ask me what is most needed, at least at the time I was there last February, is more permanent shelter and livelihood. Now, I believe that the government, the other international organizations, and also even the private sector are starting to devote the resources towards shelter, livelihood, and restoring social services such as education and healthcare. But the one thing I would say, it will need a lot of resources. It will need a lot of the help of the Filipino diaspora. That is why I think the GK Walk this April 19 is very important. It's important because, as you know, Gawad Kalinga is involved in providing shelter to those who need it most. And it so happened that, when Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda hit Eastern Visayas and the other provinces, 4 million people were dislocated and more than 1 million houses were destroyed. And so the demand for permanent shelter is really very immense. And so any little help towards building more permanent shelter and roofs over the heads of the survivors, I think is very welcome. Now at this point, I just want to say that, as Consul General, we help lead the effort of the Filipino-American community in the U.S. Northeast for a project. We call it Build a Shelter Project. We started it about 2 weeks after Typhoon Yolanda made landfall in the Philippines. And right now, we have enough funds to cover about 2 towns, 2 villages, and 2 towns of the devastated province of Eastern Samar. We just signed a memorandum of agreement with GK for a village in the town of Hernani, and we are going towards the second one in another town in Eastern Samar. We are continuing the effort, and we have enough funds almost for a 3rd village in a town in Leyte. So we are doing this with the Gawad Kalinga, with GK, primarily because they are the ones who have the track record, and at the same time, they have a lot of experience in providing shelter for the needy, and they make use of the benefiting community for purposes of building these shelters. So again, I will go back to the GK Walk that we want you to join. Every little help that you will give here will go a long way in trying to provide shelter for the more than 4 million who have been dislocated by Typhoon Haiyan, and to help those families go back to normalization.
It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about the Bayanihan Challenge and how our community here in the United States can help?
Now, one other thing why we decided to work with GK as far as the Build a Shelter project is concerned is because of their approach in building the villages. You know, they make use of a lot of volunteers. In fact, I think this April 9, they're starting the Bayani Challenge, wherein they're calling on individuals, groups, and corporations in the Philippines and even abroad to volunteer to help in building villages, building shelters in the Philippines. So, if you want to also contribute your time, or if you have opportunity to go to the Philippines and help, why don't you also volunteer for the Bayani Challenge of the GK? And that would be a good way of really helping directly the typhoon survivors. And at the same time, you will really have a direct impact